This is Sports Drive.
Welcome back into Sports Drive. Once again, I'm your host, Preston Moore. Joining me now is one of the football coaches who we've spoken to a couple times on this show recently. It's head coach Cole Underwood of the Perryton Rangers. Coach Underwood, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys have had I think you've had a pretty good start to the season, all things considered. You know, I think in terms of this matchup with Dumas this upcoming weekend, I said it earlier on the show, I don't think you'll find a better matchup between 0-2 teams in the entire state of Texas. I'm really excited for this matchup, and I don't think the records tell the story for either of your teams. Coming out of the games against Dalhart, against Canyon, two very good programs that you almost won in both games, how confident can you feel going into a game against a Dumas program that is historically really, really great?
Yeah, I think you just touched on one of the biggest things. It's just tradition. Going to Dumas, the level of play that they are used to, it's going to be a really great challenge for us. I've gotten to know Coach Dunham through the years, working for his brother at Emerald High, and I know what kind of program he runs. They're a tight ship. They do a really good job offensively. They do what they do, and then defensively, they're very sound all the time. It presents a great challenge for us, but like you said, we've gotten off to a hot start, and it's not. Neither us or Dumas have played any slouches these first two games, so it's a matter of just learning how to get over the hump and finish and get a win under our belt.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. What do you think it would mean for your team? You know, you guys know, obviously, scoring 74 points across the first two games, or 64 points rather, 64 points across the first two games. You know that you can put points on the board. You know that you can have an efficient offense. You know that you can play the game. And, you know, I feel like you can feel pretty confident that you have what it takes to score more points than the other team, obviously. But what would it mean for your team to finally get that first win under your belt?
Oh, I think it would be huge. Every team goes out on a Friday night searching for a win and hoping on Saturday morning that they find one. And I think that it's something that against Dumas, who's given Perryton trouble in the past for a lot of years, it would be huge for our kids to get over that hump and to beat a team like Dumas, even though they're 0-2, we know they're a good football team. And so a win would be huge for our momentum going forward. It would be huge for our town going forward. We keep hearing y'all are much improved, and our kids are tired of hearing that. They're grateful for the compliment, but they're really hungry to get that first win underneath their belt. And we've had a great week of practice and preparation for this week, so I'm excited to see what those guys put on the field tonight.
Yeah, last year in this game, the finish was airtight. Dumas came out with the win, but it was only a 27-25 win, 2-point differential there. Do you think your team has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder going into this year, knowing how close you were last year?
Oh, I think so. I think they don't forget things very easily, and I continuously remind them, and we've continued the trend this year. Five one-score games last year. Dumas was one of those last year. We've had 2 one-score games this year, so we've got to find a way to get over the hump and get on the other side of those one-score games, and this will be a great game to start. It's going to be tight. It's going to be physical. It's going to be you're going to see a lot of really good things from both teams, and we've worked and we're ready to come out on top.
I want to talk a little bit about the season as a whole, because your non-district schedule, I'm looking at it right now, you guys have, I would say, maybe the toughest non-district schedule that I've seen out of any of our area teams, honestly, to be completely honest. Dalhart, Canyon, Dumas, and then followed up by Canadian, Pampa, and Stratford. All 6 of those teams are competitive every single year, if not one of the best teams in the area every single year. How do you think, we talk about it all the time, but I think it's especially special in you guys' case with just how strong each and every team is. How does that non-district schedule prepare you guys for district play once it rolls around in October?
I think it gives us a chance to really experience just about every situation that we're going to experience. You know, we've been in 2 tight games already in fourth quarter and come up short, and those are lessons that you can teach from. And we've had great film sessions with our kids. We've had big time learning experiences that we're going through week to week, and that's why you play these games. That's why these pre-district games, you know, you always say record doesn't count till district. Well, we want to win every game we play, but we also want to stay healthy, and we want to learn from the mistakes that we're making and continue to build on what we're doing good. And I think we're doing a lot of things really good right now. Just got to shore up some little mistakes, some penalties here and there, tackle better, and start faster offensively. We've been slow to start in the first 2 weeks. So those are the three things that I can pinpoint that we've really worked on and are trying to sharpen up: is start faster offensively, tackle better, and limit penalties. And I think when we do that, you're going to see something special coming.
You talked about starting fast. That's something that Coach Todd Winfrey out at Canyon spoke about this week at the CISD press conference. We were talking about, how the first 6 minutes of a game can dictate sort of the way that the game's going to go. He said you can't win a game in the first 6 minutes, but you can certainly lose a game if you get off to a terrible start or something disastrous happens. When it comes to that first 6 minutes of the game, how do you make sure that you come out hot, knowing that the other team is going to try to do the same thing, especially, again, with a program like Dumas?
You just have to execute the game plan at a high level and come out with high energy. And you can't, I've told them all week, this is Dumas's homecoming game. You can't get distracted by all the extras going around. They're going to have their flaming pitchforks out there, and it's a great stadium environment. Dumas always has a rocking crowd, but just put all that in your rear view and focus on what the mission is ahead, and come out, start fast, and just do what we do. Don't try to do too much. Do your job, and that's going to take care of itself.
There's a lot of pride in the Demons out at Dumas. Obviously, you just mentioned the stadium environment is always really great out there, and I completely agree. That being said, it goes to another level, I believe, when you take into account that it's their homecoming game. Last year, you guys were playing in Perryton. This year, you're in Dumas. Not only in Dumas, but in Dumas on their homecoming day. And here in the Texas Panhandle, homecoming games can be one of the most exciting games for the home team. How do you offset that and make sure that you guys come in just as strong as they do, even though it's their homecoming?
Well, it's an old adage that people say. Normally, people set their homecoming games in games that they feel like they can win. And so our kids found out that it was their homecoming game, and that's kind of been a chip on their shoulder all week. And I think that that's something that they've really kind of grasped and taken advantage of, and they're ready to run with. They see it as a little bit of disrespect, and I'm okay with that. I told them, I said, that's great. Dumas has given Perryton fits for the last 5 or 6 years in these games, and so let's go break the trend. If they want to make us their homecoming game, we're very comfortable going in and crashing homecoming, and that's kind of been our guys' motto all week: is go in, light it up, and have fun and play fast. And if we do that and we execute at a high level, we feel very confident in what the outcome could possibly be.
Absolutely. One last question for you. We've talked about it a little bit, but over those first 2 games, again, scoring 64 points in the first 2 games, despite losing the first 2 games, there have to be some positives that you take. Obviously, you want a W in the you want another, check in the win column every single week. That doesn't change no matter how you perform on the field. You want to come out with the win. But that being said, you guys have played 2 very strong games. What sort of positives from those 2 games have you taken that you want to implement against Dumas?
I think our quarterback play has been fantastic. Julian has done a really good job commanding the offense, and he's done a great job of kind of putting our team on his back in times, but really allowing our guys to go make plays. He's being a little bit more of a gunslinger type, and not that I'm an advocate for turnovers, but he's given our guys a chance to make plays, and I think that that's been really important for us offensively. The run game kind of started to click late against Canyon. Our offensive line's kind of getting their footing, so the offensive positives is we've just got to keep building on what we're doing right. And then defensively, a lot of the times when you watch our film, we're in the right spot. We just don't wrap up and finish tackles. And so we're reading keys right. We're in the right spot. Now we've just got to shore it up and make the tackle. And a lot of times those tackles are in the backfield. So we fix those few issues on offense and allow Julian to keep building, and then fix the issues on defense. And I think the Rangers are going to be a team to be reckoned with soon.
Absolutely. Coach Underwood, thank you so much for joining the show. Always appreciate it. Perryton off to a pretty solid start this week against Dumas, one of the best matchups in the area. If you can't make it out to Dumas, we'll have highlights on the wrap-up at 11 p.m. on tonight, but I'm sure that it will be an electric atmosphere out at Dumas. Make sure you can go if you can. Coach Underwood, once again, thank you for joining the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back with more Sports Drive after the break.